Hi, this is Carlin from BookBub. In this video, I'll explain who sees your BookBub Ads campaigns and the basics of how the BookBub Ads auction works to determine which readers see which ads. Between BookBub and Chirp, we're sending millions of emails to ebook readers and audiobook listeners every single day. And at the bottom of every email we send out to these members, there's a dedicated space for an ad. Advertisers use the BookBub Ads platform to compete for these ad spots in a live auction. Unlike our editorially curated deals on BookBub and Chirp, there's no submission and selection process for these ads, so any author or book marketer can use this tool to promote any book at any time. The BookBub Ads platform is our most flexible promotional tool, with narrow targeting options that allow you to reach specific audiences based on author interest or retailer preference. And that flexibility and customization allows you to run campaigns to support any book marketing goal, and to reach readers whether you have $50, $500, or $5,000 to spend. One of the most common questions we get from advertisers who are new to the platform is where and when their ads are shown to readers. In this video, we'll walk through the basics of how the auction determines which ads get shown to which readers at any given time, and how different elements of your campaigns will impact the auction. There are 6 elements to every BookBub Ads campaign. First, the ad creative or ad image, which is what your ad looks like. The click-through links, which determine where readers end up after clicking on your ad. The audience, which determines who you want your ad to reach. The schedule, which defines when and for how long your ad will be live. The budget, which is the total maximum amount that you want to spend on an ad campaign. And the bid, which is the maximum rate that you want to pay to reach readers in your audience. Only these last 4 elements of your campaign are relevant to the auction and play a role in determining when your ad gets shown and to which readers. There's one additional element that impacts the auction, which is the other ads running at the same time. Individual ads compete for the ad spots in our emails in a live auction, bidding to reach readers in their target audience. The advertiser with the highest bid for a particular reader at the moment that reader opens an email wins the impression in that email. So one impression, which is what we call one instance of your ad being served, equals one reader's eyes on your ad. So your ads are competing with other ads that are targeting the same audience to win impressions among that audience. The auction runs each time a reader opens an email. The ad with the highest bid wins the impression. And ads continue competing in the auction until they run out of budget or reach the end of their schedule. Let's walk through an example of how this works. Let's say we have 3 ad campaigns all targeting the same audience of readers. This could be readers who are subscribed to a particular category or who are fans of a particular author. When a reader who meets the criteria of this audience opens her BookBub featured deal email, the auction runs and determines that ad number 3 is the highest bidder. So ad number 3 wins the impression, and that's the ad the reader sees at the bottom of her email that day. In this scenario, ad number 3 will continue to be the winning ad for this audience of readers for as long as it has budget to spend. So when another reader who falls into this audience opens their email, ad number 3 is still the winner. But when ad number 3 runs out of budget, it's no longer eligible to compete in the auction. So when the next reader in this audience opens an email, ad number 1 is now the highest bidder, and ad number 1 wins the impression. This is a very simplified illustration of how the auction determines which ad to show particular readers. Of course, the auction's calculations become much more complicated when you have millions of readers and impressions and thousands of ads, all targeting audiences based on custom combinations of author, category, retailer, and region preferences. Let's look at another example that adds an additional layer of audience targeting into the mix. In this scenario, let's say we have 2 ad campaigns, both targeting the same audience of readers, but ad number 1 is targeting this audience in both the US and the UK, and ad number 2 is only targeting US readers. For any reader in the US who falls into this audience and opens their email, ad number 2 has the highest bid, so ad number 2 will win those impressions. When a reader from the UK who falls into this audience opens an email from BookBub, ad number 1 is the highest bidder for that impression. But you can see that if these ads continued to run at the same time, ad number 1 might never be able to win any impressions among readers in this audience who are based in the US. But let's say that this all happened on a Monday, and ad number 2 was only scheduled to run through that Monday. On the following day, ad number 2 is no longer competing in the auction for this audience of readers because it hit the end of its schedule. This means ad number 1 is now the highest bidder for this audience of readers in both the US and the UK. So ad number 1 can now win impressions for readers in both regions. This scenario demonstrates how a campaign might be more or less competitive in the auction from one day to the next, depending on which other ads are running at the same time. There are also some additional, more advanced rules for how our auction determines which ad to show a reader. First, if 2 campaigns have the exact same bid, the winning ad is chosen randomly. This means that all ad campaigns with the same bid have an equal chance of winning impressions and reaching readers. Next, we have what we call a recency cap in place, which limits how frequently a reader can see the same ad campaign. Because we sometimes send multiple emails to individual readers each day, we want to make sure they aren't seeing the same ads over and over again in rapid succession. To demonstrate how this works, let's look at another example. Say this reader opened her featured deal email, and she saw ad number 1, which was the highest bidding ad at the time she opened that email. And let's say that one of the authors this reader follows on BookBub released a new book today, so she also gets a new release alert email in her inbox. When she opens that second email, ad number 1 is still the highest bidder for this impression, but because this reader has already seen ad number 1 today, our recency cap kicks in, and the auction blocks her from seeing that ad again so soon. So in the second email that she opens, she sees the next highest bidding ad, which is ad number 2. Another rule is that the winning advertiser pays the rate of the second highest bid for a particular impression. More specifically, they pay a rate 1 cent higher, so just enough to beat the next highest bid. Remember that your bid is the maximum rate that you would be willing to pay to reach readers in your target audience. In practice, you'll almost always pay a lower rate than what you actually bid. Let's go back to one of our earlier scenarios. The winning advertiser in this scenario bid a rate of $11, but the next highest bid for this particular reader and this particular impression was $10. So the winning advertiser will actually pay a rate of $10.01 for the impression that they served to this reader. One last advanced auction rule to be aware of is that you can't raise your own costs. If you set up multiple ads targeting overlapping audiences from your advertising account, those ads will compete with each other to win impressions among that audience, but your own bids won't increase the rate that you pay for any impressions that you win. So let's look at a new example. Advertiser A has the ads with both the highest and the second highest bids. Ad number 1 has the highest bid, so that's the ad that this particular reader will see, but advertiser A will pay the rate of the next highest bid that is not their own, which in this case is $6.01. If you want to learn more about other aspects of the BookBub Ads platform, we have a lot of other blog posts and resources on our partners blog, including tips, tutorials, and case studies of successful campaigns. If you have any further questions, you can also get in touch with our support team at partners@bookbub.com anytime. Our team of reps will be happy to answer any questions you have about your ad campaigns.